Hi everyone, Alan Denman here. As you can see behind me, it's autumn and the leaves are changing on the trees and it's getting windy and rainy and we're getting through our coal on our boat. But it is snugly there. No cat today, she's asleep on my seat, which means I can't work at the table. But I wanted to share something with you as well, which I think is really quite profound about this style of living on a boat. And I watched an Alan Watts video this morning on YouTube. He was a sort of Buddhist philosopher, I would say. He was just talking about how we go faster and faster today, and until really our starting point and our destination almost become the same, and we miss all that space in between. And of course it got me thinking about cruising and living on a boat and moving on it. And you think that when we're moving 4 miles an hour, sometimes slower. And what does that mean? That means that you see everything on your way, you smell the smells, you experience each 100 yards. And I think this is incredibly important, that then the goal is not to get to the end, to the destination, which is where we're so focused in the West on achieving goals, getting a better job, going on the motorway, getting up to somewhere really fast, 70, 80, 90, 100 miles an hour or something. The goal is the journey. The journey is the goal. And I really like this as a sort of philosophy of life. And I realize how cruising for me is very much part of my own kind of innate philosophy. Be in the moment, be in the now, enjoy every moment. And that's one aspect of it, that you just see things on the canals and the river that most people don't see because they're driving fast, going from A to B. It could be, I don't know, a coot floating on a log. It could be a heron just waiting there at the sides, like a statue, like a sculpture, not moving at all for a long time. Or it could be a beautiful tree or a tumble down cottage, and things that are forgotten, discarded, and secret as well. So I think of our waterways as secret England, and most people, maybe 80-90% of British people, don't know that a lot of these places exist and don't have this experience. So that's one point, slowing down. And then also, let's just kind of move around. I hope you can see the beautiful trees in the background going red, and there it is, yeah, beautiful. And I think one of the other things that also is about the closeness to nature as well, so that when you're living on a boat and you're moving through nature, is that you are experiencing much more how our ancestors lived. Our ancestors didn't have concrete walls or central heating. They had to generate those things themselves. They had to create fire. They had to find a way to keep warm. They had to go and forage their food. And this is kind of interesting. We want security and safety. And this is so present in our minds with, and the media supports that, really, talking about terrorism and disease and biological weapons and so forth, climate change. There's so much fear and insecurity, and we feel often overwhelmed. Whereas what I experience on the canal and the waterways when we're cruising, yes, it's 4 miles an hour. You think, well, what could be safer than that? But you have to be really vigilant as well. You're out in nature. You're exposed to the forces of nature. It could be a wind that suddenly curls around a bend and hits the boat sideways, or it could be a log floating in the water. That's something else that you have to be mindful of. It doesn't get caught under your propellers. Or another boat coming around a blind bend and you only see it at the last minute. 4 miles an hour sounds slow, but you've got to keep your wits about you. And so what I really like about our lifestyle on water is that it brings me close to nature. and really takes me back to our old ancestral roots, I think, of actually, you know, relying upon our wits, being resourceful, learning to be in the moment and respond in the moment. So if there is danger, and the effect really for me is that this makes me feel more alive, and I think other boaters feel this as well, is yes, there is risk. And here we are, we're actually on the Thames at the moment, and there is risk here, because what happens when it floods? What's going to happen to the boat? Is it going to float away somewhere, float onto the park, you know? But you know, unless we face danger and are empowered ourselves to deal with it, unless we can become resilient and active and not passive, you know, we will live in more fear. So I think I think one of the things that living on a boat has done is made me and my partner Aisha very resourceful and more confident in dealing with threats and dangers. And it is present. You know, life is not safe. We know that. But do you feel that you have the resilience, the strength, the knowledge, the intelligence to deal with things? So that's a bit about the philosophy of living on a boat and cruising the waterways of England. And it's a wonderful thing. The journey is the goal, and learning to be more resilient, being close to nature, feeling the force of nature. And nature is awesome. You know, we're just little kind of midgets on the surface of the earth, really, tiny little insects, but there is something powerful about nature. Just learning to listen to it, learning to go with it, learning to take precautions, learning to be resilient. I hope that makes sense. I hope that inspires you. Just to say as well, I've been doing promotion for my book. My interview was broadcast on London Live TV last night. I've had interviews on radio as well. There will be some reviews coming out. So it's had a great response. Barging Free, 1 year on a narrowboat. I know I'm giving this a plug, but I would really love people to read this, because at the moment on Amazon I've had quite a lot of reviews, and each one is 5 out of 5. People love the book and find it very inspiring. I'll put the Amazon link in below this video, and hope that you buy a copy and that you love it and share it with your friends, because it isn't just about boating. It is about, if you have a dream, you know, be brave, get out your comfort zone, go on that journey, go and do what you really dream of doing. Not everybody's gonna go and live on a boat, but a lot of people have a dream that they never fulfill. So don't wait any longer. That's it for today. Bye-bye.